Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Stories from Behind Bars. Sometimes when you hear certain stories, you start wondering what is wrong with our society. And for this particular case, I want to say, what's in our courts they do serve? You know, are they doing these things on purpose, or don't we have judges, magistrates who can stand up, look at people straight in the eye, and tell them the truth? What exactly is happening? Okay, so Neka and Chidima are two friends. They've been friends from childhood, so they go literally everywhere together. They're in their very early 20s. So this particular day, the two of them went to a party. So they were dressed for a party. And about like 10:30, they wanted to go somewhere else. This party had started earlier in the day, like 6 p.m. Was probably going to run till late night, or into the next morning, wee hours as they call them. But the two of them wanted to go home early. So they left there. And it was a lonely street, so they wanted to walk out. They had called an Uber, and a few times, like 2-3 times, they had cancelled out on them. Surge, they claimed. So these young ladies decided to walk down the street and then to get to a point where they can call a regular taxi, hold down and get in a vehicle. Just as they were walking down the street and approaching a junction, this police van pulls up and orders the two of them to get in the van. And they're like, why? And one of them said, what do you do? We should get in the vehicle. And no, what exactly is the problem? And then they said they were wandering. Wandering? No, we're not wandering. We're going home. Now, my take is, if you found two young girls and you thought they were wandering, why don't you find out from them why they're wandering, where they're wandering to, and see if you can help them? That's why your police officers, that's why they say the police is our friend. Assuming they were lost, it's your responsibility to help them find their way home. But no, they forced these girls into their van and started driving them round town and picking up more ladies and putting all of them together. They kept doing this stuff with these girls for over 3 hours. And it was already past midnight and everything. Then they stopped them at another lonely road and they ordered them to bail themselves. And the girls were like, what have we done? We were only going home from a party. You know that thing that you now start saying to yourself, if I had known, I would have just stayed in the party. Whenever it ended, And then finally, of course, they didn't have more than the money they had for their transportation. These are young girls who just attended parties with their peers, and they wouldn't take what they had on them. It was too small. Anyway, they took it, but they didn't let them go. They drove round and round. Of course, the girls who had money, who were about business that night and still had some money from business, you know what I mean, gave them those. They let some of them go. They didn't let some of them go. They drove them straight to the police station, and then they started they pushed them into the cell, like, really. Well, they kept them there. They wouldn't let the girls, of course. Phones know when to die. Phones know when to die. At this point, they had run out of phone battery. They didn't let them make any calls, by the way, from when they picked them up till now. And these girls were kind of stranded at that police station. So one of them, in anger, like, what you're doing, you will never get away with it. And the police officer opened his mouth and said to a young girl, I will disappear you. Which he did anyways. So, they got to the police station and he put in or if you can think of a lie, it was in that report. And then they kept these girls there, won't let them do anything for 2 days. These girls were in police cell. No member of their family, no friend, no contact of any kind. They just left them in that cell. Well, you know the way life is, you would go from anger to frustration to, so they went round the full circle. And at this point, they were just begging, please let us go home. Nobody knows we're here. Or, you know, they also couldn't, you know, okay, let's even find somebody, charge our phone so we can. You see, let me use this also as a warning. Please have some numbers in your head. Don't say every number you know is on your phone. Find somebody. Put an emergency number, 2 emergency, 3 emergency numbers in your head of people you trust will always come for you. Put those numbers in your head. So at moments like this, you can call. You can ask anybody to use their phone to dial that number and call help for you. Okay? Please. So these girls didn't, and finally, after 2 days, 3 days. Now, I don't even want to go into the several levels of abuses because that's a story for another day. Okay? And eventually, somehow they gathered them together with other people with some kind of criminal charge around them, bunched them together and said they found them together at a substance place. And this was how these girls ended up in prison custody awaiting trial. You see, these stories are very depressing, and I'm wondering, awaiting trial. I mean, what kind of investigators would not be able to separate chaff and grain? How are you not able to interview people individually to know who is where and to know who is not part of a group? They're suffering because of somebody's greed. I think also that when whoever recruits police officers is at it, please check the person's mental condition before you get them employed or before you send them out to the streets. The job of the police is to protect the lives and property of people, not to put them in positions of danger. Well, we're on it. FIDA is helping. And if you have any suggestions, any advice, any comments, please share with us. And don't let it depress you. I already dealt with the depression. Thank you.